call the Public Works meeting Tuesday, April the 6th to order. Roll call. Councilman Bott.
Here.
Myself. Mr. Spurlock. And Mr. Talbot. Okay, public participation, we don't have any. The agenda adoption, do I have a motion we adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt. Perfect.
Okay, second? Me? I guess it's all in favor.
No, in favor.
Okay, Harvey, you want to be up first?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I think you obviously heard me last night say we don't have enough money to construct the trail at this point. We've got a balance of roughly $18,000. That's probably half what we need to finish that trail. Like Chairwoman Richardson says, we've selected the alignment 3 times now, and it seems to keep changing, so an attempt to lock it in. The original goal in that section of Maddox Boulevard was put in a shared use trail. The bike lane that's out there now actually meets the requirements for bike lane. It don't have to be 4 foot wide. It can be on the shoulder like it is.
And by that, you mean just the edge of the road,
Yes.
the 4 foot on the right side of the right
On both-
line,
on
the
both
white line?
sides. Yes, yes. So that meets the standard for a bike lane. The big shortcoming out there is a lack of any pedestrian facility. If we try, we could, several options. One of them is just to leave the bike path like it is, put in some kind of, we'll call it a sidewalk, and not necessarily concrete. It can be, it should be 5 foot wide. There's no real hard requirement that I can find from VDOT to have it separated from the bike lane, although I think it would be advisable to do that. So the final configuration we came up with is there was an issue as you get closer to AJ's with the ditch and with the telephone pole and all that fun stuff was to, and I think you had the picture of it, was kind of veer off Maddox at AJ and go down to the first drive entrance into Steve Cassetto's property, come back out and run it parallel to Maddox, all the way to the famous pizza, basically. That does not technically, well, I shouldn't say that. The AASHTO, who are the people that the governing organization for that kind of stuff, recommend. They don't say "thy shall," they recommend a 5 foot separation. With the ditch there, so on and so forth, we cannot achieve that. And they actually say it's okay for a short section of highway, and I would certainly consider that a short section of highway. But that would give us 3 foot separation. Yep. So yeah, we'll come basically right down off here, get out here, and go all the way down parallel to the highway.
That's with the sidewalk you're talking about.
Yes.
And so the sidewalk would basically come to the edge of this. The edge of this guy.
With 3 foot separation, yes, it would come right to the edge of that ditch.
Oh, so you could get 3 foot separation from the existing bike
Yes.
path.
Yes.
We still may have to adjust the ditch a little bit in
Put
certain
a
areas.
pipe in the ditch?
Not ideally, we'd leave it open, but we still may have to move the ditch a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, Harvey. We may have to move the ditch a little bit to the north.
Yeah, a little bit, but it'd be a very little bit. The problem is the first section between AJ's and, there's not room.
That would be in here.
That's not much of a ditch there, it's really more of a swale. We may even want to abandon that swale, push the water, I'm pretty sure I can get the water to come down to the first drive entrance there and have the same configuration with that section as we did the rest of it.
We also talked about just using a pipe in that part of the ditch and a DI.
Yeah. If there, and I went out there and checked it again the other day, I actually don't think we've got the elevation to do that.
Yeah, it's,
Like I said, it's really not, it's a depression, it's not a ditch.
Yeah, I would think you would just be, leave it like it is. If you're just gonna do you have the money to do the sidewalk portion, or no?
no,
Don't have the money for that either? Okay.
No, this is, the only conflict that we have, if you can actually see it, is this light pole right here. That's almost be in the middle of the 5-foot path, so now I already got a price for me, and then for moving that, they said they'd move it for $700, so it's not a showstopper, because all it is light pole.
So can we say this is the final, what we want to do,
Absolutely.
Chris?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's a nice plan, I think.
That way, we don't have to keep bringing it back every time and saying, somebody else's idea, this is the way we're going to do it, we feel it's best, when we get the money.
You don't have any idea on cost on that, I'm sure, right? Or do you? No,
It's 35, 45.
to do that?
That's just to do that section that's got nothing to do with the traffic circle.
Correct.
That's from the AJ's down to the Steve's, right?
Yeah.
To Steve's.
Yeah.
Where we put that valve in.
Man, it sure would be nice if you could do something right there at that ditch by AJ's, if you could get a little pedestrian bridge in there or something in the future, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, I do.
Because that'd be nice, it would be a nice little,
It
instead of
would-
everybody having to come, the bottlenecks, the
Yes.
bikers and the walkers together.
Yeah, it would be.
We put that on the radar in the future,
you're talking about across the creek.
across the creek,
Yeah.
yeah. That way, because now if you look at it, you know, your walkers that comes to an abrupt end, they
You
have to go.
walk out into the road
They have to
almost.
go into the bike lane, and
Mhm.
you're gonna have a mess there with people coming at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pinch point.
I mean, if you could build a cross bridge over there on that extension of Ocean Boulevard, I know we can build one there. Hopefully.
The problem with putting a bridge there is the current. That section of Mill Creek, if you go look at it, is the peak and the change in the top. There's more current cut through there than I think anywhere on the island.
Probably a little bit of riprap down there next to that plate
Yeah,
too.
could you, use something to cut it back?
Which we've already got that. We have
Put some boulders or something there.
yeah, we just have to be, I'm not saying we can do it. We
Right,
just
to
have
cut
to
it
be-
down, cut down to force. on
Yeah.
No, I'm saying if you're going to put posts in the bottom to support a bridge, there's already some riprap down there that you're gonna have to contend with, you might have to dig out.
Yeah. And we'd have to protect it, especially if we try to use a wood pile.
Either that or push it out a little bit to the north and cantilever it back to the road.
Yep. But it's something to do.
Do I need a motion, Mr. Todd?
Well, that would certainly be appreciated. That would put this on to bid.
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the staff recommendation of a sidewalk during the final stage of the multimodal trail alignment.
Okay, second. I guess that's me. All those in favor?
All right,
All right, okay, that's done.
Thank you.
Okay, you're still up, Harvey.
This maintenance progress, I think you've probably seen us all over the island, doing the first cut, we'll call it. There's several ditches I already know we're gonna have to revisit just to get a little better grade on them. And, we've done the vast majority of Sunnywood Manor, done part of, Rosedale, need to go back, finish Rosedale and Division, and part of that Boulevard, so we cost a lot, so I really put it $500. That will be obviously an ongoing effort.
Got one little place to finish in Sunnywood Manor, and that entire development will be done. And sure, we're gonna keep an eye on that next heavy rain we have, see how we're doing.
Some of this basic maintenance is for nicely. They said we repaired that DI area across from the carnival today. I mean,
Where does it drain to?
it goes over.
Does it go there to the, like, the little boat ramp
Yeah, there's an old terracotta pipe, well, this is the path for that,
down from it?
right there in Nolan's front corner.
Okay,
There's actually an old drain the state put in years ago, terracotta pipe, and anytime you do a terracotta pipe, it's a new challenge. So,
Right.
Did a great job from,
so that goes in there and then goes down and goes out the boat ramp like?
no.
It doesn't?
It goes across Main Street,
Oh.
and pretty much straight on out, and there's only those two drains attached to the outfall.
Okay. Do you have a list? Has anybody given you a list on some of the ditches around here, or have you done it yourself?
No, I've done it myself, through
Looking at,
looking and seeing.
checking when it rains?
Yes. We still, need to go back to Wayne Road, especially on the south side of Wayne Road. Ditches there.
Okay. All right. The next thing will be the painting of the groundwater storage tank.
Yes, Mike, do you have it picture?
Yes. Give me just 1 second here, I'm answering the mayor.
The groundwater storage tank is in sore need of paint. I don't know the last time it was painted, it's probably been 15+ years ago.
And I'm gonna pass my phone around. There's the pictures. I apologize, I don't have them on my computer, I can put them on the screen, but there's the pictures that Harvey took today of the groundwater storage tank.
We've been
I don't have a
doing,
scroll phone. I don't have it.
we've been doing spot repairs to the point that the spots are becoming
Oh, yeah, I see it.
more areas of the tank.
Not very pretty.
And there's some structural, there's some rust in the ladder and that kind of stuff that's becoming a structural issue. I thought that D&M Painting gave us actually a proposal to do it while they were here doing the high-rise tank. And somebody else said it today, and I would certainly concur, being it was probably one of the better contractors I've had the pleasure of working with in a long time. Outstanding work, great work. But they gave us a proposal back then when we were doing the high-rise tank of $34,880 to do the entire tank. No doubt they'll do an outstanding job of it.
Now, this does not have to be encapsulated like the other was because there's no lead paint.
Correct.
Okay.
So, when COVID came along and we had no idea what the water system's revenues were look like at this point in time, we decided to defer that. As June, the end of this month, in March, we're at 70% of revenue for water rent. Every projection is we'll meet budget for water rent for the year. I asked D&M for a proposal to come back. Obviously, there's some mobilization costs in there, and they agreed to come back and only charge us a mobilization fee of $4,200. All they're saying they'll do the whole job for $39,080. Revenues seem to be there to support it, and actually, we budgeted this fiscal year $80,000 to paint that tank.
That's in the current fiscal year.
Right? Yeah, I saw that.
So we have a proposal, and I'm very confident with the company doing it to provide that work for half what we budgeted. My recommendation would be to proceed with that work this fiscal year.
Have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go with staff recommendation to
Okay.
repaint the groundwater tank.
Well, the reason we haven't ordered that yet is because this ARPA money will supposedly work for water sewer infrastructure. And I'd like to use ARPA money to pay for it. As I said last night, we still won't have the regulations for that toward the end of the month, until the end of the month. If In fact, we could use that money to paint the storage tank. Harvey got a drop dead date from the contractor. This is the date you have to tell us by in order for us to get it done by the end of the fiscal year, and that date is March 15th, or sorry, May 15th, one of those M's. So we were kind of delaying it for another few weeks until we get the guidance, the formal guidance from ARPA. And I would like to use the ARPA money. Now, CARES Act money did not allow you to spend it for anything that was in your budget in the last fiscal year. It couldn't have been in your budget originally. If it was in your budget, they weren't going to let you use it. Well, I might have that. Yeah, I've got that wrong. It had to be in your budget in order to use it. If it wasn't, they weren't going to let you use it. In any event, I'm hoping there's nothing in there in this ARPA guidance about that, so we can go ahead and use ARPA money to do this. We'll probably end up fronting the money anyhow, and even if they say ARPA is not going to qualify to us, I'm still going to recommend that we do it. This is a bargain basement price for what we had in the budget, and we certainly have it. We think we're going to make, as Harvey said, we think we're going to make our water budget, our water rent budget, and in fact, we're projecting to exceed it next year by enough to pay for this. But I would still recommend that we do it anyhow this year, even if we have to take it out of reserves. It's a good price and it needs doing. So that is a project I'd say we not defer any longer.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And we'll time it,
right.
And
Yeah,
the
I'll
other-
amend my motion to not use our money if at all possible.
Okay, I'll second that, okay? Save what we can.
And
You're right.
we actually are gonna have to do a change order to the original contract to get this work done, so when we get ready, we're just gonna have to go back to full council for that.
That'll keep us from recompeting it.
Right, right, okay. So when you get this done, you'll bring it in front of full council for approval, everybody. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, next thing is our Brianna Park progress update.
Brianna Park, the equipment is scheduled to be delivered on or about the 21st of April. Been talking with the vendor several times, and he's confident in that date. We've actually found a certified playground installer / inspector who's up in Ocean Pond, who's agreed to provide, to supervise, we'll call it, the installation at a minimal cost. I don't quite have a real number for minimal cost yet, but it's, I guarantee it's a lot better than what we got from the manufacturer. So, and then our maintenance supervisor, Mr. Taylor, has had a vacation scheduled forever to go to Disney World, and has put it off several times, but anyway, he will be back until May 4th. So, best I know right now, everything's going to come together with the actual installation equipment on May 4th. Site contractor is supposed to be here in the next, either the end of this week, beginning of next week, to get all the rough grading, not rough grading, fine grading for the program. The modifications, I think Mike mentioned last night about the pavilion and so on and so forth, that we need for the stormwater management plan with the county. John Storm, our engineer, actually submitted that to the county today. So, things are coming together.
Everything's on target, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's a good thing. Okay,
We're still projecting October.
do what?
We're still projecting completion by October.
October, okay. All right, next on the agenda, comments from our council?
Mine's more of a question. On our sidewalking, I've noticed even with my sidewalk that I've had there behind the pharmacy, we don't put any, I've noticed in some areas they run, and when they do sidewalking, they put like a little teeny steel plate down about this wide that allows stuff to go underneath. Has a tube underneath of it, right? To allow either, I guess, water to drain through or
Yeah, they've used that in a couple of places, but it's very minimal.
minimal. I didn't know, because I think that's, a lot of people with the yards, I see a lot of people that they end up putting their sump pumps, hoses and stuff on top of the sidewalk.
Right.
And you always get that rust color, and the water's always pumping on top of the sidewalk. I didn't know if it's something we could think about in the future, looking at having those installed at residences, especially on Maddox, you really notice, because everybody on there's got a sump pump underneath their house.
This we've actually, rather than going that far, there's a few places where we've actually installed PVC pipe.
I saw Steve's got one down at the golf
Yeah,
course.
Steve's got 'em,
Well, if you look at Mumford Street, which was just done, there's a few on Mumford Street, and they actually had put a pipe in the sidewalk and let them connect on their side so it wouldn't land on top of the sidewalk.
So we are doing that in some areas.
When we have the opportunity.
When we have the opportunity, yeah. I just say something to keep a lookout for in the future, because I hate it when we put in a new sidewalk and then you see the,
And we
Bill's
may
not.
be able to cut and fit one of those plates, we'll have to take a look at it. You have to recess it so it's not a stumbling block. That would be a little difficult, but it might be able to be done.
something down the road when we're looking at it, and there might be a device that does it easily or something to that effect. But
Sure.
with all the rain we've had, you really see who's got the pumps and who doesn't have the pumps when you're riding
And
around.
it does, the grind water here will tear up a stain the sidewalk, or stain the side of your house, everything
Yeah.
it touches.
And plus, when you're riding down the street, you see the water pumping out. I mean, a lot of them,
Yeah,
you know. Anyway, that was just the only thing I had. Everything else looks, the ditch maintenance thing is really nice. That's doing the job. I mean, you never know or something, well, you can see the water flowing.
good.
I mean, you can see the water moving, which is kind of cool. So,
I have last couple of significant rains, or halfway significant rains, I've been up and checked the circle, and last time I checked it, I think was one night last week, we had a frog strangler there for a minute, and it got a little deep, and in a couple hours it was gone. Pumps are taking care of it, so
Good.
doing what they should do.
Do you have anything you want to say?
No, ma'am.
Art? Okay. Do I have a motion we adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you all.